Hey, welcome. What's that, Myron? You thought the debate was an utter disaster? The chief medical officer for the United States of America has claimed that Joe Biden's fit for office. Yeah, Fauci himself said that. You got to trust Fauci. He knows what he's a doctor. Yeah, I know the first 12 minutes was well, yeah, there was a, yeah, and he did, yeah. Calm down, Myron. It's just politics. What's that? You think it's over for Biden? Well, I kind of think so too, but you never know what's going to happen. Great point, Myron. I pay you minimum wage, but Myron just made a great point. He said that it's going to be up to the donors now. Yeah. If the money stops, Biden stops. Well, I mean, politically speaking. It's so late. No, it's not late, Jamie. It's only 6:32 where I'm from. What time is it there where you're from? Hey, Jamie, should we open up the Discord and then you can co-host with me? You want to do that? You won't be on YouTube camera, I don't think. Well, unless you want to be. You want to do that? But I'm interested in your thoughts. You can put them in the live stream chat. I watched the debate with my family. and my wife was just like, she was like, this is so uncomfortable. Make it stop. Yeah. I was okay with the uncomfortableness. I kind of like uncomfortableness, but yeah. And my son, wife were very uncomfortable. My daughter was kind of liking it, and she kept on saying, pause it. I got something to say. Pause it. I got something to say. I just want to listen to the... No, pause it, Dad. My daughter loves to talk. It's 9:30, your bedtime, Jamie. Come on. You're a grown lady. You live a little. It's 3:30 a.m. for where Rami's from. Your brain is dead. Okay, I understand. So what I'll do is I will put a link to maybe Whereby then. I also have a Discord channel now that Jamie graciously is doing all the work. How's that going, Jamie? Is the Discord fine? Was any problems? I got some things I can play. Oh, I'm having a ton of fun with shorts. My goodness. I made a short the other day on it wasn't like I didn't add much value, but the ending, where Biden leaves and Trump leaves, I made music to it. And I guess I was first to the party. But look at this. Now, this is 2 days old, so this is not all the views. I think it's at 1.6 million views, that video. This second one I just put up. Chief Medical Advisor Anthony Fauci says Biden's fit to serve. I should play that one. I mean, it's just so much fun. I like it. What can I say? And it doesn't take very long. Here it is. Screen capture that.
Truth, and if we make a mistake. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the first thing he did when I became his chief medical advisor, we
So the question is Biden fit to serve?
had a conversation literally the first day saying we want to go with the evidence and the truth. And if we make a mistake, we correct it. But we've got to be honest with what's going on.
What about...
We've got to be honest with what's going on. You got to be honest with what's going on. You got to be evidence-based, says Dr. Fauci. You got to be evidence-based and honest what's going on. Now, many people think that Biden just had a bad day, a bad debate day. It was a one-off. But the vast majority of the country have been seeing what's going on with Biden for years, dare I say. It's obvious that he's at least in the beginning stages of dementia. And then the really huge Biden supporters will say, but, look at Trump, he's just as bad. Really? Someone who says that, give me a full hour's worth of Trump's gaffes, and then I'll give you a full hour's worth of Biden's. But even like, some people are maybe too young, but I'm old enough to have gone into many, because of my uncles and my aunts. My parents are not in old folks' home yet. But anybody who's been into an old folks' home and walked in there, you see Biden's face all around you. You see that stare, the mouth hanging open. You see the same movements. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. And so, when we were watching the debate, my wife agreed that his wife, Biden's wife, Jill Biden, what is she thinking? What's wrong with her? A loving wife would say, now, dear, I think it's time to retire. Like the strain, the stress of being president of the United States. Now, to be fair, the United States is not crumbling, right? I mean, there's bad things happening in the United States. Immigration's out of control. Crime in certain cities is out of control. But, we're okay. We're surviving. So you don't even need a president that can actually even stand, maybe. I mean, and even think. It's just all the advisors in the background doing the work, right? I think people give way too much credit to the presidency and way too much blame to the presidency. When things go bad, it's not always the president's fault. When things go good, it's not always the president's praise or doing. But yeah, what else did I make here? Oh no, I can't even play one. I made one on the book bans today. That book banning is sometimes good. But it is so vile, because Senator John Kennedy quoted some books. It's so vile that YouTube said, limited, this video may earn limited or no ad revenue. Oh, this actually, what frustrated me most about the debate was this. I'm going to play this here.
Number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, he had the law.
Yeah, that was one of his major gaffes. But people focus on his gaffe about beating Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. That's not the real gaffe. The real gaffe is the substance he tried to say before that. And so I'm going to explain this to the people from Missouri.
Largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period.
He says that Trump has the largest national debt in a 4-year period. On a 4-year period, it's a accumulation of four years worth of deficits. Deficits like the annual, but you can say 4 years of deficits added to the debt. Now, technically, he's correct. But most Democrats, I don't think, know this. By the end of Biden's 4th year, he will exceed Trump's. He's on pace to exceed Trump. Well, I said here, 3 years, it's fine. He's already exceeded Trump. But one can say the COVID years is kind of like maybe give him a pass. So we'll see, but it's like 99%. I'm 99% confident that his deficit is going to be worse. And we're not in a recession. We were, I guess, technically in a recession for 2 quarters in 2021 because of COVID, but we bounced like right back.
Number one.
What is the best Bible translation in your opinion as possible? Completely off topic, but thanks for the donation. My favorite version is the easy to read version that you can get on Bible Gateway. Easy to read version. Oh, it's beautiful.
Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy.
Yes, tax cuts tend to benefit the very wealthy. You know why? Is there any Democrats here who can tell me why tax cuts benefit the very wealthy the most? Because they pay the most taxes. The people who pay the most taxes when there's a tax cut get the most benefit. That's just science.
What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true. Thanks for the donation, Rex, for $4.99. Doug, how much do you go into Pareto Moscow's elite theory? If any, what's your take? If not, please develop a take, haha, and give us your Doug view. I have no take on the Pareto Moscow's elite theory. Other than that, I lean towards populism tends to be better than elitism. Does that answer your question? I hope so. Well, thank you for the donation either way. Yeah, so the top 5% pay 65.6%. I think the top 10% is like close to 80%. And when we talk about the top 50% of federal taxpayers, the top half, you're talking like 97%. So half of Americans, half of households pay almost zero federal income tax. They got no skin in the game federally, no skin in the game. And yet they can vote to decide how much to tax other people. Some might say that's borderline unethical and immoral. I'm not saying that, but some people might say that.
They just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers. They've raised $500 million.
Okay, this is where I almost had an aneurysm during the debate. If we only tax the billionaires 24% instead of 8%, again, I didn't fact check the 8% number, but I know the average for the top 10 percentile is like 28%. So he's saying it's 8. If we only tax them from 8 to 24, we could make how much? He said 500 billion over a 10-year period. Okay, so Democrats, please be honest with me, please. 500 billion over 10 years is 50 billion a year, yes? Carry the one. Yeah. 50 billion a year. And he said that would wipe out Trump's accumulation of deficits, his debt over his 4 years, which was 5.4 trillion, 5.5 trillion. And then he said we could if we tax the billionaires, we could wipe out Trump's debt and pay for these other things.
$1 billion, I should say, in the 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue.
We could wipe out his debt and do all these other things. Now, I hear people on the left say, Trump does nothing but lie, 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 lie. Is this a lie? This is why I like numbers. Because numbers you can basically, it's really hard to, it's more objective, let's put it that way. Is Biden lying here, Democrats? Or is he just bad at math? Come on. And the thing is, people believe this crap. They believe if only we tax the rich, all our problems will be solved. You could confiscate all the billionaires' wealth in the United States. What did he say? There was 1,000 billionaires in this country? So let's say they each had $1 billion, that'd be $1 trillion. But some of them have like 200 billion, some of them have 3 billion. But you could just take all their wealth, just confiscate it. And you would, I don't think you would still have enough to pay off our national debt. Anyhow, I want to play this. I haven't watched all of it, but it looked like it was fun. So some young kid came on. What's his name? Harry Sisson. And he loves Biden.
Harry Sisson. Harry, you think Biden won last night?
One person.
Yeah, no, I did, definitely. On the substance of the conversation, Biden won. His policy was pragmatic, it was logical, and Donald Trump just lied the entire time. Is incapable of telling the truth.
You know what's funny about that? When he says Trump lied the entire time. Entire time. He didn't say one thing that was true. Not one thing that's true. Now, can I say that you have lied? For the people from Missouri, I want to ask you a question. Is lying, no, actually, for the people from San Diego, if you're listening, San Diego, California, is lying the same as telling something that's untrue, a mistruth? Answer, no. And if you go, what? No, of course. When you say something that's not true, you're lying. Really? A child says 2 + 2 = 5. They're lying. Thanks, Rex. Please check out our elite theory at your leisure. Oh, that's why you're giving me money, Rex. You want me to promote something for you. I would appreciate your point of view. Okay. I will make note of it.
Incapable of actually laying out policy. He didn't talk about how he's going to make the American people's lives better. He just, said that, January 6th didn't happen. He talked about the election. He said that overturning Roe was a great thing and forcing 10-year-old girls.
He said January 6th didn't happen? Again, is that a lie from this little kid?
To give birth is a fantastic thing. That was Donald Trump's debate. So on the substance of the conversation, Joe Biden absolutely prevailed.
Right, but the problem you've got is I saw the CNN fact checkers on Joe Biden's public statements last night, and it was just untruth after untruth after untruth.
What? CNN said Biden told untruth after untruth? Do we have that here? I think we do. Thanks, Myron. Yeah, you're doing better. Okay, let's see what Biden said that was not true. Uh-oh. The YouTube overlords.
Tonight notwithstanding, there is the crucial question.
In a while, who didn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world. Troops have, of course, died on his watch.
Yeah, I caught that too. Biden said that there's no troops who died in his decade, in his century. He said century first.
He's put in a $15 per shot cap on insulin and Medicare. It's a $35 a month cap. He said it's a $200 cap on overall drug spending in Medicare. It's $2,000 a year. He said the border now has fewer crossings than when Trump was in office. That's generally not true.
Generally not true? Generally not true?
He said, or at least strongly suggested, unemployment was at 15% when he took office. It was actually 6.4. He said Trump wants to get rid of Social Security. Trump doesn't. He said billionaires pay 8.2% in taxes. It's much higher. He said Trump told
I think it's 28.
Americans to inject bleach amid COVID. We know Trump made foolish comments about scientists studying disinfectant injection, but didn't frame it as advice to people. And Biden said the Border Patrol endorsed him.
Yeah, right when Biden said that, the Border Patrol Union tweeted, "We do not support Joe Biden." Now, they did support the legislation, the bipartisan legislation that he, yelled at Trump for not endorsing as well, but not that they endorsed him for president.
No, its union supported the border bill he'd supported, never endorsed him himself. In fairness, the president did appear to clarify that one. Now, the Trump list, it is way, way longer. So deep breath. He said some Democratic states
Of course, CNN.
allow people to execute babies after birth, an egregious lie that is illegal.
Some Democrat states allow people to... Did he say that? See, this is the thing. Let's talk about this one a little bit. What Republicans and people like me say on the topic of abortion is we try to get at at the values. So if I were to say, do you think a woman who has not been raped, who has not had incest, who is healthy and the baby's healthy, do you think at the 8-month term they should be allowed to abort? Now, if you're a Democrat or a left progressive and your knee-jerk reaction says, well, that never happens, you're missing the point of the question. The point of the question is to make you very uncomfortable. That's the point of the question. And so the question is, would you side on the baby's side at 8 months or the woman's right to choose? Declare it for the world to hear. And we have a caller. Oh, it's going to, I got a feeling it's going to be, well, we'll see. Let me, hey, can you hear me? It's going well, thanks.
Good. Actually, I came on to ask you something. How do you feel about liberals supporting Palestine? Because to me, it just makes no sense whatsoever, man.
Well, I can tell you why they support Palestine, why some of them at least do.
I mean, I know the obvious reason, but I'm not going to say it live.
Well, I'm not going to, well, you're not going to say the obvious reason why. The obvious reason they would say is because they don't want to see the killing of babies, right?
Well, I know, well, we know that's not true.
But here's the real reason I think the progressive left support Palestine. I think there's a lot of people on the left who support Israel. But the main reason is because they view the Palestinians as oppressed, and they view Israel as the oppressor. And their lives in the United States are so bad and pathetic themselves, they feel like because they don't have skills, or maybe they're stupid, or they have some illnesses, they feel that they have the right to, to have a better life, like their neighbor down the street that they're jealous of. So anyhow, they see themselves in the people in Gaza. And so therefore, we oppressed people have to unite and go against the oppressor, the big bad Israelites. And also, this explains anti-Semitism as well. In history, the Jews have been one of the most persecuted people of all time. And the Jews seemingly have overcome. And this is a bad thing for oppressed minorities to hear and see that they can go through slavery and they can go through the Holocaust and still have 50% of the Nobel Prizes awarded to them.
Okay.
I mean that makes the oppressed people in the United States feel like, oh, maybe I can overcome too, but I don't want to. I just want people to give me stuff for free.
I get where you're coming from on that answer. It just makes no sense to me because they just don't know. They don't understand what's going on over at Palestine. If they did care about dead babies, then why are they pro-abortion? Or if they care about gay, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm drinking a little bit. If they did care about women's rights, they wouldn't agree with what kind of rights Palestinian women have. I mean, let's be for real. Women in Palestine, they get treated like dogs. Everybody knows.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like a lot of the people who support Palestine in the United States are from the queer community, and if we were to pick them up, transport them into,
they would all get killed.
Yeah, depending on what country you're in. Yeah.
And I was gonna say that too. Yeah, they throw LGBT people off the buildings, and I just don't understand it. I'm just thinking, this is like Jewish people supporting Adolf Hitler, or KFC supporting, or I mean, chicken supporting KFC. Man, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's interesting how the pro-Palestinian community in the United States are siding with Hitler on this one against the Jews.
Really?
Yeah, well, that's happening, right? Like they're saying the Jews, Israel is the big evil country. They're the oppressor. Hitler was the big evil guy. The Nazis oppressing. So actually, the Palestinian supporters are siding with Hitler.
I heard that there's a lot of Middle Eastern countries, like the president of Iran. He is actually he was before he died in a plane crash. He was a a believer in Hitler. He thought the Holocaust didn't even happen, dude. Like he was a confirmed Holocaust denier.
Hey, I got this is a side question, but if you were to meet a Holocaust denier and you talked with him or her, in your head, would you view them as deranged?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Without a doubt. Are you kidding me? I mean, 6 million people. How can you explain that? And there's a lot of proof out there. Oh, my grandpa saw it, man.
Do you think people who were born male and now say they're female, do you think those people are deranged?
Yes. Yes, 100%. Yes.
Okay, you're consistent.
I mean, look, I don't hate people for living their lives, do whatever they want, but keep it away from the children, you know?
Yeah, because children are our future, and if you treat them well and let them set the way, many beautiful things can happen. Is that the word?
Yeah. But
Sorry,
anyway,
I got the Whitney
man,
Houston quote wrong.
But anyway, man, I think the left is completely deranged and backwards on their support of Palestine, and it just doesn't make sense. If they truly cared about their values that they preach, then they wouldn't be supporting a bunch of people that would openly oppress them.
So you're saying they're hypocrites mainly because of the abortion issue?
Mainly because of the woman issue, the gay issue, all types
yeah.
of issues, man.
Yeah.
It's all types of. It's not just the abortion issue. I mean, still, I mean, I was just making that clear. I mean, a lot of leftists, they believe in abortion. I mean, if they cared about dead children so much, then quit aborting your babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Mr. PineCreek, thanks for having me on again, man. It was nice talking
Well,
to you.
you've been on before?
Yeah, I joined your Discord and I friended you.
Oh, okay. Myron, why don't you tell me? This guy's smart. You should have.
My name's Noah. I came under as Fat Ass Dogs before. That's what everyone calls me.
Okay. Why fat ass dogs?
I don't know, but I have a picture. I have some pictures I want to share you. I actually met Congressman Matt Gaetz a few weeks ago. Yeah, I was at I was at this convention where I got to see Trump, and I was in the front row. I just wanted to show you some pictures if possible on Discord.
How many people were there?
Thousands of people were there. The room at least had it was a full stadium room, and all the seats were filled.
This was where, in Florida?
This was in Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. What was Matt Gaetz doing in Detroit? I
mean, there was a lot of conservatives coming to Detroit. It was a lot of Congress people. It was a lot of conservatives. We had it was Turning Point USA, the people who were holding this event.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had Charlie Kirk there. Yeah, so Charlie Kirk was pretty much hosting the event. God, he's amazing.
You know, you sound like you're staunchly conservative, but is there anything you disagree with the conservatives or the Republican Party?
Israel.
Oh.
Israel.
Explain.
Israel. I just personally don't believe Israel should exist. I mean, it's stolen land, if you want the truth.
Whoa.
I mean, what?
You don't think Israel should exist?
Me personally, no.
Well, where should they go?
Well, where should they go? I mean, they weren't born there.
Nobody
so
was.
Why not just stay in your country where you were born, you know? I mean, I'm not saying.
Well,
like,
there's a lot of Jews who were born in Israel. Now.
Well, true. That's true, but before that, they moved out a bunch of Palestinians just to keep their own land.
Yeah.
Take land from them. I mean, come on, it was originally their land. I mean, I'm just saying the fact.
Well, it depends how far back you go, right?
Yeah, it depends on how far back you go. I mean, before then, yeah, it wasn't their land.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
it was all made up of Holocaust
okay.
survivors.
Am I allowed to push back on you a little bit?
Sure. I love it.
Okay, so
I love a good challenge.
So, Mr. Fat Ass Dog.
you can call me Noah.
Okay, Noah. Where are you from?
Detroit.
So, born and raised?
Yes.
So you'd be okay with the military coming in, or some people, the UN coming in, and
if
saying,
the military came in, I hope they would be there to defend us.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
If you're consistent, you should be okay with the Native Americans asking the UN military to come in and remove you. You weren't. That's not. I mean, they existed in that land way before you.
Sure, but I'm saying what they did was what they weren't the ones that took the land. It was the UN. Understand that. And I'm not proposing that, hey, we should move all these Israelites out of Israel. It's obviously too late for that, man.
I don't think Detroit residents should exist.
Well, dude, come on.
It's native land.
I'm not all leftists like that, man. Okay, sure, okay.
Oh, what would be? See, you're being inconsistent, Noah. If you say Israel shouldn't exist because it wasn't originally their land, then Detroit people shouldn't exist because it wasn't originally their land.
Well, I mean, we've had it for thousands of years, though. How long has Israel existed?
Thousands of years? Noah, you're doing liberal math.
Hundreds. I'm sorry, hundreds.
Okay, now you're sounding like Biden. Hundreds, thousands.
Yeah, I'm sounding like Biden. God damn.
Okay, this is what I want you to do, Noah. I want you to just relax. I want you to go to your fridge, and if you have a beer, go ahead and drink another one, and just and I want you to sit on your couch and reflect on what you've done here today. Thanks for Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Yahweh Seeker.
Hey, PineCreek.
Hi there.
So, why should I be an atheist?
You shouldn't if you don't want to.
Okay. Because being a Christian gives me a lot of mental comfort, but I don't think I can justify it when I talk to someone who's really knowledgeable about it like you are.
No, are you being sincere right now?
I actually am being 100% sincere.
Okay, you know what? You are in my top 5 list of callers lifetime.
Wow.
To call in and say, hey, it gives me comfort. I can't justify it. Let me be. And
Well, here's the caveat.
I'll leave you be.
There's a caveat, which is I'm a baby Christian. So I've only been looking into this for about 4 months or so. So maybe I will harden in my ways. But
okay. What do you want to talk about Christianity, or you just now that you've heard me say that, just stay a Christian then, or that's fine?
Not really. I'm actually content with that answer. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think if I told that to someone like Matt Dillahunty, he would freak out, and I don't like that.
That's because Matt Dillahunty is mentally unstable, emotionally unstable.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
hang on. Let me try to steel man Matt Dillahunty, because he would probably ask questions to how Christianity impacts your life practically. So he's more worried about how you're going to vote.
Well, he's not going to be happy with that regardless, whether or not I believe in God. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying that you would vote the way you'd vote even if you weren't a Christian?
Yeah, I've always been conservative before I believed in God.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So. Well, yeah. Thanks.
Why does it say on your thing Yahweh Seeker and not Jesus Seeker?
It was just kind of a joke. I'm just being tongue in cheek. Yeah.
Okay. Well, technically they're the same thing, right?
Yeah. Well, Trinity.
Like Yahweh equals Jesus, Jesus equals Yahweh. They're both.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I still have a little bit of questions around that, because is Yahweh really? I mean, is Jesus the Father? No, he's obviously not, because that's.
Yeah, they're different persons, but yeah. I'm talking about in their being. They're both God.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like you know more about this than I do. So
yeah,
sounds like I have some reading to do.
You said you're a new Christian after 4 months.
Yeah. I was raised Jewish. Yeah, and
I got some Jewish listeners. They're not going to be happy with you.
Well, I mean, I think
I lost.
They have these this atonement ritual where they swing the chicken over their head and they slap it on the floor. Have you heard of that before?
No. What did the Jews do? They throw chickens around their head?
Yeah.
Why?
And then they slap it on the floor, and that atones for their sins. You can look it up. It's a real thing.
Well, that's a lot easier than putting a man on a cross.
I gotta go, PineCreek. This was great talking to you.
Say hi to your wife for me. I'm sure his wife came into the room and said, "Oh, don't you dare talk to PineCreek." Aaron Matskin says, "I'm infuriated." Are you Jewish, Aaron, and that's why you're infuriated? Yeah. But I really do appreciate people who say, I can't justify my position, but it gives me pleasure, comfort. And as long as they're not like killing anybody.
Oh, I'm not sitting here I'm not sitting here telling you that Joe Biden tells the truth every single time he speaks, or that he gets every single number right and every single statistic right.
He gets most of them wrong.
That's not true. To compare Joe Biden's lies to Donald Trump's lies is laughable. Trump told over 30,000 lies during his presidency.
You know what's ironic about this young chap? Trump told 30,000 lies. If it's, let's say, 10,000 instead of 30,000. Now, has this guy lied?
Averaging around 20 a day, and he showed that last night when he lied about every single thing he talked about. Lying doesn't win.
I got to make a short of this guy. Like, I bet you there's at least one thing what's this guy's name? I got to do this for the algorithm. Harry Sisson. Okay, when you search yourself on Google, on YouTube, you're going to find me, and you're going to say, what's this PineCreek guy saying about me? I can sort of understand why you're complaining about Trump lying, and then you're using words like Trump does. It's like there's no way that everything Trump says is a lie. Even if you're the most adamant Trump hater, you got to give him at least 10% truth, right? So you're engaging in the hyperbole that you disdain in Trump. And he doesn't even know it.
Debates.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you're going to use lying or misleading the public with statements against a candidate, you've got to make sure your own candidate speaks with unforked tongue. I mean, Biden, barely a week goes by.
They're telling you that Joe Biden tells the truth every single
on and on and on. Almost every statistic he came out with was completely wrong.
Biden's.
Yeah, but Pierce, I mean, let's be real here. Like, if you're lying, if you get one sec, Vinny, you look like a. Relax, buddy. If you're getting a number incorrect, right? If you're getting a number incorrect, that's like a very small.
7 years ago,
hold on now, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Excuse me, you right there.
Were you 10 years old, Harry?
What was that?
How old were you when Trump won? 10.
You know what I'm imagining right now? I'm imagining this guy on the left taking this guy on the right over his knee and giving him a spanking.
Years old? 7
Benny,
years ago, you were 10
you
years
look like
old,
you're about
bro.
to explode.
You don't know
What's
what
this
the
guy's
hell
name?
you're talking
Take a
about.
breather.
That's not
Take
relevant.
Hassan was right to
His
call.
age
You have
makeup.
He's entitled to his
Hassan,
opinion.
listen. Listen, I know Hassan's a big fan of mine. He
You're
was
10
right to
years
call you
old.
out for looking
Podcaster Vinny Oshana? Is that who that is? Vinny? Yeah, he looks like a Vinny. No offense.
like you're about to explode. It's okay, no problem here.
Yeah, you were 10 years old when Trump won.
You have to level.
Get him, Harry.
And what are you, like 80? Like, relax, buddy. Take a breather. You're okay. I promise. It's okay.
Ooh, that was so good.
Den,
so
Den,
good.
yoga.
Biden's
Yoga's good. Yoga's good. Yoga's good.
Can I just say, it doesn't. I don't actually care how old either of you are. Let's get back to the real reality, which is I care about the age of the president because he looks like he's 108.
Sneed McFeed says this guy is paid. Oh, he's a paid Democrat. Get the kids in line.
So, Harry, I'm just bemused. 33% of people watching it apparently think Biden won. I don't know. Harry, hang on. Harry, I don't know how anybody honestly can watch that debate and honestly conclude that Biden won. You'd have to be so deeply embedded in the Democrat partisan tank that you can't crawl out long enough to see the wood for the trees.
So first thing, I want to respond to your lie comment. I think that, yeah, we want both candidates to be honest, but we have to weigh the lies here. Like if Joe Biden gets a statistic incorrect, that is vastly different than Donald Trump still pushing lies.
And just to let people know, I've put this, I'm up and going on Discord.
It's about January 6th and about the election. So that's first and foremost. But second of all, as I said, the substance of the conversation is what matters. Trump can scream the loudest, he can lie the most. That doesn't mean you win a debate. When Joe Biden's up there saying, like, you know what, my policy is pragmatic. I want to give women their reproductive rights. I want to continue to lower healthcare costs. I want to expand healthcare for veterans more and more. That's pragmatic policy. That's logical.
But Harry, the problem, okay, but Harry,
this kid doesn't understand that people have honest disagreements on the rights of the mother versus the rights of the fetus baby, and at what point and for what reasons.
Here's the problem.
Substance.
Harry, here's the problem. He couldn't articulate his views in a way that anyone could really understand.
True
and
that.
secondly, and more crucially, in Trump, he has an opponent who tells a lot of untruths. And what you want the president of the United States to do is to be quick-witted enough and sharp enough and intelligent enough to, every time he does that, leap on it. And
yes, and this is some people said Biden did a great State of the Union address, and I agree he did, but he's reading from a teleprompter the whole time. And he knows at least half of the building is going to applaud him. Much tougher to do a debate live on your feet.
And tell the American people why what he said was untrue. Biden was simply incapable of doing any of that. And that's what a lot of Democrats have said overnight is the most problematic thing. It's not that he's old or anything. It's that he was incapable of either articulating policy in a way that resonated or holding Trump to account. And if you can't do that with a candidate like Trump, there's no hope.
Well, to be fair, Piers, Trump is pretty good at rhetoric.
Yeah, except Piers, that was the method that Biden was.
Hang on a second, I'll come to you in one sec. Let Harry respond to that.
Sorry.
Well, all right. What I was going to say is, if that's the method that Biden was going to go with, then all of his answers would just be fact-checking Trump. Every 2 minutes he has to be like, okay, Trump lied about this, and that's not any way to win a voter over. Biden, I would think it's more of the moderator's job to fact-check as opposed to Biden dedicating his entire debate to fact-checking. Biden should be laying out the policy, which he did. He seemed pretty coherent when he called out Donald Trump for assaulting and raping E. Jean Carroll. And
What did you think? Okay,
people don't like to talk about
excruciating moment when
I don't believe he raped E.G. Carroll, for the record. I think I'll use the word lie in her case.
Joe Biden basically froze and mumbled his words. It said complete gibberish. And then Donald Trump just said, I don't think even he knows what he just said. Let's just watch this clip, and I'm going to ask you to explain to me what he said.
Ooh, this will be good.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look,
this one.
if
he doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA.
I mean, Harry, what was Biden saying there?
It's a very nice, selectively edited clip. I like it. I don't think that every person ever is going to speak perfectly. So highlighting Biden not speaking perfectly.
No, but I watched the whole thing, Harry. I watched the whole thing.
Broader conversation.
I watched the whole 90 minutes. I don't come at this as on the left or right. I'm not a member of either party. I don't promote either party over the other. I simply come at it as a journalist. I didn't understand 90% of what Biden was saying. I did.
Well, see, I think that's hyperbole. I understood at least half.
Understand Trump. And understood that he was misleading me a lot of the time, but also understood on the big picture messaging, which he kept ramming down the viewers' throats about the chaos at the border, the state of the economy, particularly on Black Americans and Latino Americans who are gravitating to Trump, and so on and so on. On those big picture messages, he was hitting home hard. I don't know what Biden's messages were. I don't know what he was talking about.
Pierce, did you not understand President Biden when he talked about how the PACT Act now has 1 million people signing up for it?
No, not really. No,
did you not understand
I
him?
didn't know.
Did you not understand him when he talked about the largest investment in fighting climate change in world history?
No, because he spoke in a weird. Look, I'd understood it if you had basically translated him in real time.
Does he have blush on his cheeks? Are my cheeks that? No. Real men don't wear makeup, right? Oh, except for Trump.
I'd have understood it if Gavin Newsom had done the translation for us and articulated what Biden was trying to say, I'd have understood it. But Biden spoke for 90 minutes in a croaky, monotone, drone-like manner.
The thing is, it's not just the debate he does that. If you're honest with yourself, Biden has good moments and Biden has bad moments, but there's a lot of bad moments that far supersede the bad moments of Trump. I know there's people like David Pacman who just loves the "I know you are, but what am I?" argument, and so he'll just try to say Trump is just as bad. Any reasonable human being will say to you, no.
Honestly, for most average viewers watching, was utterly incomprehensible. And the problem he's got is that Trump sounded and looked exactly like he did in 2020 and 2016. Like he's always done.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did not sound exactly like he did in 2020.
I promise you, go back and watch Trump in
was rambling
2016.
incoherently.
Go back and watch Trump in 2016.
Incorrect.
Compared to last night, it's the same guy. You may not like him, but he's an embellisher, and he'll tell lies, but he'll ram home the messages. And one of
because Trump isn't going to make any sense with his
home messaging in a way that resonates with people at home.
Yeah, I brought up David Pakman. I'm going to show a clip of David Pakman here. There we go. So David Pakman made a video. He's a pretty far left-wing guy. Is he far left? Yeah, I think he's a progressive. This is 1 week prior to the debate.
sort of verbal ink blot on it. Because Trump isn't going to make any sense with his sort of verbal ink blot on any issue. And the problem is Trump's cognitive state. Trump cannot focus at all. And whether it's cognitive decline or an attention deficit issue or whatever.
This is classic projection. This is his prediction 1 week prior to the debate. And he nails it, except for the wrong guy. He said Trump is going to be this way. It was actually Biden.
And I have to tell you, it was not good. This is a left-wing show. I'm voting for Joe Biden. He's the better choice. But if I came here and told you that it was a great performance by President Biden, not only would I be lying to you, you would then justifiably never trust me again. Joe Biden seeming
his followers shouldn't trust him again.
Confused. The second Joe Biden opened his mouth, I knew it wasn't going to go well. The debate kind of made me sick to my stomach. Biden's poor performance, I worry. Biden didn't look good and Biden stumbled. He beat Medicare, which doesn't make any sense. Biden just seeming shaken up, not expressing himself clearly, not making a lot of sense. Because Trump isn't going to make any sense.
Biden not making any sense. Trump's not going to make any sense. This is why I love making these shorts. There's just so much fun. Because you can very quickly show people the contradictions.
Yeah, it's certainly not the same guy when the Trump in 2024. The Trump in 2024 is talking about boats sinking and like sharks and batteries and all that stuff, and he's telling these insane lies about the election. I mean, in 2020 he was claiming that China was bringing in bamboo ballots. I mean, this is like your crazy uncle at Thanksgiving who's screaming in the corner. This is not a presidential candidate. This is a dude who just rambles incoherently on the debate stage, as he did last night.
And do you believe, Harry, finally, do you believe in your heart that Joe Biden is the right person to lead the Democrats into the election in November? And do you believe he can win?
He can win. He's going to win. And as Vice President Harris said, we don't let a 90-minute performance negate 3.5 years of progress. Biden's the only man who has beaten Donald Trump, and he's going to do it again. And I'm looking forward to...
Well, that's saying a lot. The only man to beat by Trump.
Convicted felon Donald Trump facing justice.
Donald Trump, yeah, the only man to be beaten Donald Trump. You can say that about a lot of presidents.
Why are you the only person I've heard in the last 24 hours who's not crying because the performance was so horrendous?
Money.
On the Democrat side.
I don't know. You have to talk to the people that you're surrounded by.
I'm talking about Thomas Friedman and Frank Bruni and all the Democrats.
That's great.
Actually, I'm going to say something about this. I think CNN gave the left permission to say what they said about which guy was it? One of the lead guys for CNN. The very first response, I think, that went live after the debate was this guy basically saying, this was horrible. What Biden, this is crazy. And we got to rethink him being president. And then you saw a flood of other news organizations on the left agreeing. It was almost like they got permission. Is it okay to say what's been obvious to most people? Is it okay to say it now? It is? Okay, now we'll say it. This is true in a lot of political discussions, whether it's the COVID vaccine, climate change, whatever it is. It's like people need permission to speak how they're really feeling because they're just so scared. I don't want people to call me a conspiracy theorist or something like that.
All the Democrats supporting writers for the New York Times and so on, literally all of them, Van Jones at CNN, they're all crying because it was so bad it brought tears to their eyes. You appear to have watched a pretty different debate. You're happy. You thought it was great. He's going to win a triumphant victory. No, he's not, Harry. Wake up.
Wake up.
Yeah, I don't have the mentality of like, oh, something didn't go our way, now we have to pout and cry. I have the mentality of, well, if something didn't go our way and that's the way it's perceived, let's get to work. Get out there and get a clipboard and go get some signatures and go door to door. Don't sit here and sit in our own sadness. Let's get to work, as opposed to writing in the New York Times that it didn't go the way we wanted it to.
I agree with you. Actually, that is the right response, and I admire that attitude. So thank you for joining me. Harry, thank you very much. Well, joining me now is the Republican National Committee spokeswoman, Elizabeth Pipko.
Harry wants Trump to win. I just want that to be clear.
Elizabeth, thank you very much for joining me. I'd imagine you're extremely happy today.
President. No, I'm not extremely happy, actually. I'm extremely happy for Donald Trump. I think you'd agree that he had a resounding win last night, but I'm actually really upset. I'm upset for the country. It was not a good night, obviously, for Joe Biden or the Democrat Party, but it wasn't a really good night at all for the American people. We just had, I believe his name was Mo, a former Biden advisor. I was listening to your show, and he said that this was a blunder, right? A blunder on the part of his campaign to have him out there on the debate stage. I'm wondering why.
I think this guy here gave the left the permission to doubt Biden. This is, let's start here maybe.
John King, I mean,
John
what
King, that's
now?
his name.
A couple things happen. Number one, we wait. I would say we should wait. We won't, but we should wait a week and see how this settles out in the polling.
So this is 11:18 p.m. Eastern. The debate started at 9 p.m. Eastern and went to 10:30, 10:45. So this is under half an hour. This is like fresh off the press here.
In the battleground state polling, and particularly among the most important subgroups. What happens right now is I would just say that if the Trump people are running around saying they won the debate, we'll see if that holds up. Biden lost the debate. I don't know if Trump won the debate. The early indications we're getting, again, from pollsters and party strategists who were talking to people in focus groups and doing dial groups, is that Trump actually fared pretty poorly on the issues, and his tone was negative. So I don't think we don't have any evidence before us right now, in the hour after it ended, that Trump gained a lot of new voters, put it that way, right? Did he hurt himself with the Trump base? Absolutely not. And so that, Donald Trump's going to get 40-something. He's going to get 40-something. Did he grow tonight? I'm a little skeptical of that. The main issue, though, is the president of the United States, the incumbent. Again, I don't know that the old rules apply because he's running against the former president, but this is my 10th one of these. And when the incumbent is running, the American people are being asked, keep what you got.
That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all. And he looked, I'll give you the analysis. You kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can.
I get very nervous, and I say this both on the Republican side and the Democrat side. If someone says they love their president, it just rubs me the wrong way. I can admire, respect, but love?
But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention, and there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that.
There is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party.
So I think John King here set the stage for giving the United States left permission to doubt Biden.
Started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say, in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting. The contrast between the two candidates.
You guys have heard the conspiracy theory around that, right? That they did give, the conspiracy theory is this. I'm not saying this, but this is what some people say. that Biden was given performance-enhancing drugs, but they didn't time it right. They should have given it to him a little bit earlier, and so it only kicked into the latter half of the debate. I'm not saying that. Anyhow. If anybody wants to call in and give me their thoughts. Oh, let's listen to, before we go, let's listen to Kamala Harris. Such a wise woman.
President Biden should even step aside. What do you say to that?
Listen, first of all, what we saw tonight is the president making a very clear contrast with Donald Trump on all of the issues that matter to the American people. Yes,
I will say that looks are very important to the American voter, and Kamala Harris is far, far better looking than President Biden.
It was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. And what became very clear through the course of the night is that Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people, on substance, on policy, on performance. Joe Biden is extraordinarily strong. And
I'm sorry,
that
on
cannot
substance
be
and
debated.
policy and performance tonight, I mean, the president's performance tonight clearly was disappointing for his supporters. CNN is reporting Democratic lawmakers watching the debate were worried about the president's performance. One said it was a disaster. Another called it a train wreck. Those are Democrats especially worried that Biden did not punch back on Trump's.
I wonder if she's hearing this and she's thinking to herself, I'm going to be president. I'm going to be president.
Lies.
Listen, people can debate on style points, but ultimately this election and who is the president of the United States has to be about substance. And the contrast is clear. Look at what happened during the course of the debate. Donald Trump lied over and over and over again, as he is wont to do. He would not disavow what happened on January 6th. He would not give a clear answer on whether he would stand by the election results this November. He went back and forth about where he stands on one of the most critical issues of freedom in America, which is the right of a woman to make decisions about their own body. He has been completely ambiguous and all over the place about where he stands on that issue, despite the fact that he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the
He wants the states to make that decision.
intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and that's exactly what they did. And just 3 years ago, we commemorated the 2-year anniversary of Dobbs, wherein women across our country have been denied emergency health care,
All that may be true. All
miscarriages
that
to
may
the
be
point
true. But the president of the
these
United
facts are
States
very
was not
important.
able to make that case to Donald Trump on this.
Thanks for the donation, Apostle Paul. Love your work in the New Testament. Do you like Canadian conservative J.J. McCullough? He's not a conservative. He's a left-wing granola cruncher, tree hugger. And I lean no to your question.
Stage tonight. I mean, you debated against then Vice President Vice President Biden 4 years ago, and he was a very different person on the stage 4 years ago when you debated him. You must, I mean, that's certainly true, is it not?
Anderson, the point has to be performance in terms of what a president does. A
Right,
president
but
who
that is what is
incites an
scary for
insurrection
people
against the
watching this.
Capitol. No, but I got the point that you're making about a 1.5-hour debate tonight. I'm talking about 3.5 years of performance
getting
in
angry.
work that has been historic.
But
whether
is that
it be
the man who
infrastructure.
Is that a lie? Well, I guess everything's history once it's gone from the present. So yeah, you're right. Everything President Biden has done the last 3 years has been historic. Everything I've done the last 3 years has been historic.
On the
guy, the
stage
other
tonight,
guy,
is that the
the other
person
guy
you
on
see
the
in
debate
meetings every day?
stage. The person that you saw on the debate stage that has, for the last 3.5 years, up until today, performed in a way that has been about, whether it be in the Oval Office, negotiating bipartisan deals so that we have an infrastructure, a real infrastructure plan where we're putting trillions of dollars on the streets of America to upgrade our infrastructure. Whether it be the person I see in the Oval
Is there potholes in your city, in your state?
Oval Office, who is meeting with...
Wait, didn't Biden promise internet for all the rural folks? Hey, rural folks, did you get your internet yet?
Heads of the military and the intelligence community and in the Situation Room, ensuring the safety of America. The person I see in Joe Biden...
Ensuring the safety of America? Did she just say that? With so many immigrants coming across, at least, they're just as bad as Americans, those immigrants. Those immigrants coming across the southern border are just as bad as Americans. And Americans are pretty bad. So that means 1 to 15% are committing crimes. No, maybe not that much. But a fair-sized percentage are committing crimes. Promoting safety. We can be picky in who we let into this country. We can say, yeah, I like you. No record of crime. You're in. Oh, you? You serve time in a jail in Venezuela? No, you stay out.
On the world stage, convening world leaders who often ask for his advice, most recently just during the G7 conference. So I'm not going to spend all night with you talking about the last 90 minutes when I've been watching the last 3.5 years of performance.
But this was a debate that your campaign wanted. You pushed for this debate at this moment.
With these rules.
Obviously, you can't honestly say, can you say that you are not concerned at all having watched the president's performance tonight?
It was a slow start. That's obvious to everyone. I'm not going to debate that point. I'm talking about the choice in November. I'm talking about one of the most
Kamala Harris's view of the debate. It was a slow start. That's the best way to put it.
Important elections in our collective lifetime. And do we want to look at what November will bring and go on a course for America that is about a destruction of democracy, electing a...
Yeah, if Trump gets elected, I've heard some people on the left say that's the last time you'll vote. That's a shame, right? Boy. If Trump gets elected, he told you guys he's going to be a dictator. Why aren't you Republicans scared and shaking?
A man who has said he'll be a dictator on day one? Or do we want to continue on a course that's about strengthening America's economy, building and creating 15 million American jobs over...
15 million American jobs are created. Was that another lie? Were they really created? And does it have anything to do with the Biden administration? Or does it have to do that they were laid off because of COVID and then they went back to work when COVID was over? I'm not going to call that a lie, but some people might.
800,000 manufacturing jobs. I got that this is the afterplay for the debate, this conversation that I'm in, and I understand why everyone wants to talk about it, but I think it's also important to recognize that the choice in November between these two people that were on the debate stage involves extraordinary stakes. And there's one person on that stage who has the endorsement of their vice president, and that's Joe Biden. Mike Pence is nowhere to be found in supporting Donald Trump, and that's why he has to look for someone else to run with him.
I wonder if Bill Clinton supports Joe Biden.
Who, as we know, will embolden and rubber stamp whatever he wants, because they're going to have to make a choice.
I can imagine Bill Clinton. Hey, Joe Biden, maybe it's time to... I can't do his voice. Maybe it's time to retire.
To not be Mike Pence and to put Donald Trump over their country.
Neither person on that stage tonight made the argument as coherently as you just did. You mentioned reproductive rights. I'd like to just play that exchange that we saw tonight.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Okay. Would you sign a bill to abort 30-week, Mr. President Biden? I'd love to hear him answer that question. How about let's say, what's 9 times 4, 30? Yeah, 30-week. That's a good one. Would you sign a bill of 30-week? And if not, are you saying you do not support the right of a mother? That doesn't happen, Doug. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's another short I made the other day. The left is starting to mock Biden hard. Jon Stewart is known as like the funny guy of the left, and he is funny. And he mocked Biden hard. Like within hours of the debate. He must have a good staff of writers to be that quick.
If we finally beat Medicare, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Jon Stewart's own audience, they're groaning. They actually feel sorry for Joe Biden.
Thank you, President Biden.
How did Biden do not talking?
Nothing, and Russia nothing, and India nothing.
Not great. Oh shit, we're back, baby! Abortion! A to the B to the O to the R to the D to the repeal of Roe v. Wade. That is Trump's weakest issue.
Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral.
Did you just immigration abortion?
He did.
Look.
Biden immigrated abortion. Okay, so this is what it boils down to. This is the summary. On social issues like abortion, if you feel more sorry for the mother than the baby, you're going to vote Democrat. If you feel more sorry for the baby than the mothers, especially if there's no exceptions like incest, rape, and the health of the mother, then you're going to vote Republican. Fiscally, that's a tough one for a lot of people because both parties are bad, horrible at the fiscal stuff. But if you want to, I think the Republicans are bad. If you go through things like deficits, the deficit that Trump ran up was way too high, in my opinion. But Biden is on pace to be worse. Fact. Immigration, if you feel very sorry for poor people in other countries and don't want them to die, vote Democrat. If you want to be very selective about who comes in this country, even if it means some poor innocent people will die in other countries, vote Republican. What other main issue? Foreign affairs, wars and such. If you are okay, if you actually desire the leaders of other countries to fear Trump because he seems a little unhinged, crazy, and braggadocio, then vote for Republican because you view that as a good thing to prevent wars. If you're more about diplomacy and comprehensive dialogue and holistic ways of thinking, then vote Democrat. On issues of critical theory, gender ideology, all that sort of thing, if you're against that, vote Republican. If you're for that, you feel sorry for the queer community, then you vote Democrat. What other big issues are there? Taxation, that's a no-brainer. Role of government in general. If you didn't have a father and you need the government to be your daddy to take care of you as a backstop so you don't suffer from huge anxieties, vote Democrat. If you did have a good dad and mom who have taken care of you and they're your backstop, then vote Republican. If you think charities and private industries can do a better job at helping the poor than the government, vote Republican. If you think the government needs to do it because charities won't do it, then vote Democrat. I'm giving you like a guideline. Just easy check boxes here. Am I missing any of the big issues? Got the foreign stuff, domestic immigration, taxation, Abortion. Those are the main ones. Let me know in the live stream chat if I'm missing anything. The major divisions. Oh yeah, I missed the big one. If you think Donald Trump is going to become a dictator and this will be your last vote if he wins, then definitely vote Democrat. You have my blessing. But if you're a reasonable person who understands that the probabilities of that happening is near zero, given our three branches of government and history, then vote Republican. Yeah, the Jon Stewart thing was brutal, Tom. Feel free to ask me questions live chat at PineCreek. I don't see anyone but Democrats still talking about abortion, apart from since the moderates asked Trump about it. Abortion is one of those things that I think it's okay to have a referendum on, and by bringing it to the states, it becomes more of a democracy issue than a democratic republic issue. Ooh, I like that. Two-party system for 330 million Americans says what? Yeah, what? That's a good point. There should be more than just two main parties. Little Doug wants some Kamala? All I said, Jerry, is that she's way better looking than Joe Biden, and that is not a lie. It doesn't take much. I look better than Joe Biden. That's the truth. The truth. Hey, Doug and Myron says Speedy Romans. Yes, I'm Doug. That's Myron. Say hi to Speedy Romans, Myron. Yeah. Charities fail 1,000 times over compared to socially funded programs. Private charities have never solved systemic issues. 60-second skeptic. Then vote Democrat. You have my blessing. I'll keep going here. Andrew Hamilton, who are you now expecting to be the candidates in November? Anything's possible in the magical kingdom. There's a chance that Trump might be in jail before the election. I doubt it. And I don't know. If you're asking me if Biden leaves, who's going to replace him? I was going to say Gavin Newsom, but he's not even liked in his own state that much from all the homelessness and drugs and crime. Small businesses are kind of like the franchisees of restaurants are like, what, $20 minimum? Don't privatize welfare, although we already are with Walmart. Possible asked me wants to denounce Canada. No, Canada, when it comes to hockey, I still cheer for Canada over the United States. I cheered for the Edmonton Oilers and then they lost. My favorite city, one of my favorite cities in Canada is Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It's so flat you can watch your dog run away from home for 3 days. Speaking of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Michael Gardner asks, did this debate make you more proud to be an American or make you more embarrassed to be American? Lean 1 or lean 2? Oh. You give me the choice of those two bad options? I go lean 2. But I gotta admit, I laughed and cringed. I had fun. It brought the emotions out of this dead man. I'm a dead man walking. We all are, actually. Unless you're a woman. Do I think the 25th Amendment will be implemented and Kamala be president? Well, it's way above zero probability. Yeah, I still do have that kind of accent once in a while. That's why, you know why Canadians say A lot, right? You know that. Because you ask Canadians to spell Canada, they say C-A-N-A-D-A. Only a hoser would know that. Real Mad Dog says I'm going to rewatch this in a few. What's that, Myron? You're planning to delete this hangout after the show? No, don't. Don't delete it. The Real Mad Dog wants to rewatch it. But you want to give incentive to people to come to the live shows and just not rewatch it later? And so if you delete it... Myron, I'm your boss. Keep this video up, okay? What do you mean I'm just on-air talent? No. You look at the sheet. Hierarchy. I'm above you. Don't worry, Mad Dog. It'll stay. I'll make sure of it. I won't let anybody delete this. If given the choice that Canada conquers the United States, good luck with their horses, or vice versa, but one must happen. What would be optimal in your opinion? Oh, America all the way. I'm American first, Canadian second. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. Sorry, Mom and Dad. It's true, though. Apostle Paul. Again, I love your work in 1 Corinthians 15 especially. Should pit bulls be banned? I hate them so much. No, I think pit bulls should not be banned. We can use them on the front lines in some wars. What's that breed of dog that's similar to German Shepherd? But they kind of look like German Shepherds, but they're the Belgium Malinois. Andrew Hamilton asks, according to some sources, it may be too late to replace Biden on the Wisconsin ballot. The deadline for Nevada and Georgia are coming up soon as well. Yeah, it's easier said than done to replace him. But like, he could die, so then you have to replace him, right? Okay, I'm gonna do this is the last round. So if you have a question, ask it now, or a comment, tag me. Doug doesn't apologize enough to be a Canadian anymore, says Jerry. Canada? See, the United States should take over Canada because they got water, lumber, uranium, ice, pucks. No, Malinois, yeah. Monad knows what I'm talking about. Those Malinois dogs, incredible. Is Doug woke on the pitbull question? Hey, Myron, write this down. Apostle Paul, #1 fan. Yeah, put him on our watch list. If he flies into Wichita, grab him at the airport. Convicted felon or dead man? Well, you gotta remember Joe Biden's son is a convicted felon as well, so Trump is like a son to Joe Biden. That's good, right, Myron? I like that. I'm just trying to have fun, and now we're almost done. Who likes politics anymore? Why are we talking about politics when we can just be vamping back and forth, telling jokes? If you want to join the conversation on Discord, let me give you an invite link. There's the invite link. If Biden had a son, he would look like Trump, to paraphrase Obama. Who's my favorite New Testament character? It has to be Jesus. I love Jesus because Jesus drowned babies. Poof. He could have poofed them, but no, he drowned them.